Cowboy Ninja Viking, you're out of town. Logan, I don't think Disney wants you on their streaming service. And some old faces join SpiderMan Far From Home. All that and next on Movie Emporium's News of the Day. What's up, guys? Welcome to Movie Emporium's News of the Day for August 8th, 2018, where we take stories from around the world of movies, give them to you, break them down one by one. If you haven't heard about our show before, we're on YouTube, Audio Boom. We're on Facebook, Twitter. Join us, comment below, tell us what you think. But like I said, we take stories from around the world. So with that, our first news story is Chris Pratt, who is known for stuff like Jurassic World and Guardians of the Galaxy, has been cast for a while now for this movie called Cowboy Ninja Viking, which is exactly what you think. It's about a cowboy ninja Viking. Pretty substandard, you know. It looks like fun. It's a comic, all that good stuff. But it's been learned that recently that Warner Brothers, who is handling the project, has booted it out of their schedule. Why that is, I don't think they have faith in it. They're learning from what happened with The Mummy with Universal. Apparently this is the same way, where it's rushed to production. Nothing's working properly, so it's not what they want. But what's good about this is maybe they're going to finally take a break, reconfigure the movie, and then bring it back out later. Whether Chris Pratt is involved with the project, it remains to be seen. They also had other cast members join the project just recently. But, you know, these things happen. It's part of the movie world. Hopefully, and later on, this movie gets made because it sounds like a lot of fun. I mean, think about it. Cowboy, ninja, Viking. That's all you need, right? Exactly. So we'll see what happens. But that's pretty much it on that story. It sounds like fun. So with our next news story is Jessica Chastain, Eddie Redmayne. They're joining a movie called The Good Nurse, which is a story about Charlie Cullen, who went around for about 16 years. He was called the Angel of Death, and he murdered about 300 patients. I don't know much about the story itself, but it sounds really interesting. It sounds like, you know, one of these stories like Kevorkian, where maybe they thought they were doing good, but in the end they were committing mass murder. I think it would be interesting to see them go and, you know, either whoever was playing the characters, either Eddie Redmayne or Jessica Chastain, of course. I think it could be fun. Jessica Chastain, of course, is an amazing actress. Eddie Redmayne won an Oscar for playing Stephen Hawking. So they are both very versatile actors. And to see what these guys can do with this movie, I think is really interesting. I don't know much about the director, but just the story itself could lead to, you know, fantastic Oscar-worthy buzz, lead to, you know, fantastic acting and stuff like that. You know, you can't go wrong with these two actors. So we'll see what happens with that. It looks good. I mean, that's pretty much it on that. So we'll go ahead and move on to our next story. And our next news story is John Carpenter's The Fog. I'm sure you all remember this movie. At least I do. It's a movie about a fog that invades a town. Creatures invade the fog. They kill people. You know, it's John Carpenter at his best, you know, with stuff like The Thing and Halloween and whatnot. He takes these weird ideas like, you know, The Fog or with The Mist with Stephen King and creates a horrific scenario. And that's what he's doing here. Well, the movie came back out in the 80s, and here it is. It got remade in like 2004. It was terrible. But here we are getting a 4K restoration that's going to be released in the theaters. That should be cool, right? But once again, we're getting another restorated movie, like 2001: A Space Odyssey, that me personally has no way of watching because it's only being shown in New York and I think LA. I mean, I want to go see this movie in the theaters. But how am I going to see it when it's in a different theater and it's a different state? That's not fair to us. But they do it all the time because these are the big cities and these are where they get the most press. But the fact that he's bringing it back to 4K and it's restorated and stuff like that could be cool because that means we're going to get a 4K Blu-ray out of this. And anything that's been upgraded that gives it its original perspective, I think could be really cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with that Blu-ray, but I'm a little disappointed that we're not getting it in the theater, especially something like this that is timeless. They should do the same thing with The Thing, except release it in our theaters, not release it in just New York. So I thought it was kind of a cool story that they are like with 2001, they're restoring it, making it look like what it originally looked like. It doesn't look, dated. They did the same thing with the Matrix, where they fixed it, they gave it better audio, they gave it color corrected, all that good stuff. So, what do you guys think about that? I'm disappointed. I'm pretty sure you guys are. So, but with our next news story, we got Disney streaming service. I know it's not really a part of a movie episode or movie YouTube channel, but I wanted to talk about it because it's going to involve putting movies from all Disney properties and soon Fox properties onto the streaming service probably within the next couple of years. The big thing about the story is no R-rated movies are going to be anywhere on the streaming service. So think about this. Anything that Disney has produced, anything that Fox has produced that's been R-rated, so Deadpool and Wolverine or Logan, will not be anywhere on the streaming service. They'll probably be on Netflix or Hulu, whatever deal they've made with these companies. But we're going to be paying, what, 10, 20 bucks a month for whatever this service is going to cost, and we won't be able to watch Logan. Yes, I already have it on my Apple TV. I have it digitally, but why would I pay something like 10 bucks a month and Disney has this massive library, but they're not going to put movies on there. They're not going to put the R-rated movies on there. So I just think it's a little cheap. I think it's a little scummy a little bit because yeah, it's not going to really deter because they're going to have Star Wars and stuff like that on there finally. But I just kind of wish that R-rated movies would get a little bit more love. Disney's kind of afraid to make R-rated movies. I mean, think about this. I've said it before, but think about if Logan or Deadpool had come out years ago, let's say Disney had bought it years ago, there would have been neither of those movies. So it's like I said, we're not going to go into too much detail. You know what the streaming service because you probably read about it. I'll put the link in the comments below or whatever. But I just think it kind of sucks that Logan and stuff like that is not going to be on there. And there's movies like that have been part of Disney and part of Touchstone and Miramax and all those companies that won't have the chance to be on this service because they refuse to do R-rated movies. And maybe it's a family thing. Maybe they're afraid. Maybe they don't want to be like Netflix. Maybe they want to be more family friendly. But it's a little disappointing. It's like the fog thing, like I said just a few minutes ago. Sometimes I don't think they plan it properly, and maybe they're rushing. I don't know. I think what Netflix does, they put stuff up there that unrated NC-17. Blue is the Warmest Color is on Netflix. I think Showgirls is on Netflix or something like that. So, I mean, it is what it is. So I'll leave it with that. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic of the news. Spider-Man, Far From Home. I'm excited for this movie. I know you're all excited for this movie. It kind of spoiled Avengers Infinity War because, Peter Parker, spoilers, Peter Parker disappears, fades away, dust. So we know he's coming back. We know everybody's coming back. We're not stupid. We know Black Panther with the $700 million gross is coming back. Doctor Strange is coming back because there's been hints that they're going to make another movie. But the cool thing is, and I'm going to leave this as spoilers, so give it a couple minutes, fast forward, is Samuel L. Jackson and Kobe Smulders are going to be in Spider-Man Far From Home. They're already in Captain Marvel, which is cool, but they're going to be in Spider-Man Far From Home. There's not much known about what they're going to do in the movie, but I'm assuming everything that takes place after Avengers 4, Endgame, whatever they're going to call it, is going to involve Spider-Man dealing with those effects, and it's going to deal with Kobe Smulders' character, Agent Hill, and Samuel L. Jackson's character, Nick Fury, dealing with the after effects of what happened to them. Maybe there's interjection, what's going to happen with Spider-Man if, Iron Man doesn't make it, that type of thing. But I think it's cool that these guys are getting some love. Kobe Smulders she's had bit parts in all the Avengers movies and some of the like Captain America Civil War. But to see them get kind of other parts, through Captain Marvel and Spider-Man Far From Home, I think could lead to some really cool stuff. But like I said, nothing's known about it. But I kind of wanted to share with you. So, there's that. That's pretty much it on the news stories. There wasn't too much. It's kind of the middle of the week. It's the summer, so I'm never expecting a lot of news. Comic-Con was last month, so all the big news was there. But I wanted to do a new segment. I don't know if I'm going to do it every week or every day. I'm going to do it probably at once a week. But I wanted to, me being a movie fan, a movie lover, I like to learn about movies. I went to film school, so I learned a lot. But the one thing that a lot of people don't realize about making movies, even making YouTube videos, is I have like two soft lights, which light on me. I have a camera that I'm talking to you. I have a mic. I have cats. I don't know, whatever what cats. But what I want to do is kind of give you a history lesson, a fun history lesson, but kind of tell you a little bit about how movies are made. I'm still learning. I always learn. I taught when I was talking to my cousin Kenny, who's a he's a grip and does DP work or cinematography. He actually taught me some stuff that I didn't know, but a lot of stuff he works on, being a grip and stuff like that, I'll get into later on. But I wanted to talk to you guys about cinematography, and it won't be a long. It's not gonna be like a half hour. It's gonna be like a few minutes. But a lot of people don't know that they think the director does everything, and he doesn't. What the director does is he directs the crew, he directs the cast, he makes sure what he wants, the visuals are mandated. So let's say he wants the sound guy to pose up here in front of the actor. That's what he does. He does that. But what he has is what he's called his cinematographer, which is his right hand man. The cinematographer can direct, and John Comiskey, who works with Spielberg, has directed a movie before. But the cinematographer is basically known for, if the director wants a certain shot, he finds a way to get that shot. Let's say Spielberg wants to do an angle like over here. The DP has to find a way to make that shot work. And he's also involved with the lighting crew. Let's say they have these things called gels, which are like, they put like a colored segment over the light, which gives it like a darker color or a lighter color or a brighter colors, depending on what the director wants. And they also work, they're kind of like let's say you have like the defensive coach or the offensive coach. They're that type of person where the coach is, they're like, I want to run this play, but the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator, they're working with the coach to figure out the best way to do it. So even though the director's talking to the actors, the DP is more of the technical side of cinematography or of movie making. He's making sure, like I said, that the shot is correct. He's making sure the lights are correct. He's making sure the sound is properly working. He's almost like a hands-on journeyman guy, I guess. He's the everyman. He's the one that's kind of in charge of everything. He's making sure the director doesn't have to worry about it. But it's really interesting to see. There's been some great cinematographers. There's like Robert Elswit. You got Rachel Morrison, who's a up-and-coming cinematographer. First female to get nominated for an Oscar for cinematography. You have Bradford Young, who did Solo. You have Janusz Comiskey. You have Freddie Young, who was David Lean's cinematographer back in the day. I mean, you have people like Gordon Willis, who's a pioneer in cinematography. You have Wally Pfister, who worked on all the Nolan movies. Roger Deakins. Haskell Weckler. You also have Conrad L. Hall. You have Caleb Deschanel. All these people have worked with really famous directors. They worked from everybody from Christopher Nolan, Spielberg, to Martin Scorsese. I know I'm forgetting some people, but I think the idea of a cinematographer is an amazing thing because without them, the directors don't get the shots they want. I mean, yeah, there are some directors like Wally Pfister who know both sides of the camera, but the idea of what the director is doing and what the DP, the director of photography as it's called, is doing, if those two don't meet together, then it doesn't work. Nothing works. None of the departments work. The DP can almost be like the goalie in hockey. I also said assistant coaches, but he's also like the goalie in hockey, where if they get scored on, they lose the game. So, it's an interesting take. Like I said, this is just a basic idea of what a cinematographer does. But I find, like I said, I find them the most fascinating because they can end up in the long run leading up to a director position. It just takes time. But a lot of people, like John DeBont, Barry Sonnenfeld, two well-known directors, were once DPs. If you look at Big, just look at Big. Barry Sonnenfeld was a cinematographer on the movie, and you know him from like Addams Family and Men in Black. So it's an interesting field to get into. Just look up these guys, look at what they did, look at the amazing work they did. You know, look at YouTube videos. Just look at Roger Deakins, for instance. The guy was nominated for 11 Academy Awards, finally won it for Blade Runner 2049. I'll give you one shot that, especially with him, that I find one of the most impressive shots, and it's from a recent movie. If you haven't seen it, check out Sicario. And there's a scene where they're walking through the desert in Mexico, I believe. And the shot is natural lighting, but it's at dusk. So everything is dark, but there's just enough light that you can see the characters moving. And the shot is amazing because it takes what a cinematographer does and it puts it to a degree that is unparalleled. I mean, you look at the stuff in The Revenant, those stuff, even though Inarritu directed it, his DP, he has to position those shots. He works with the director, but he has to position it. And it's an incredible thing to watch. So, like I said, check it out. I'm going to leave you with that. The cinematographer, one of the most important persons in Hollywood. So, sorry if I ramble. I'm going to get better at this, I promise. But with that, thank you so much for watching Movie News of the Day. If you guys have any questions, remember to email us at nlapola1138@gmail.com. Always remember to subscribe to YouTube, Audio Boom, Facebook, Twitter. But with that, thank you so much, guys, for watching, and we'll see you later. Peace.